Hello, worldwide. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone. If someone saw the door open in the back, that would be more evidence that we are live because I think one of my children just tried to walk in. So, hey, welcome. You have stumbled right into Kari's Corner, and I am so happy that you are here. We've got people already chiming in, and I love that. That's perfect. Sadia, hello. Elizabeth, hello in Uganda. So thankful to have you guys here. Welcome to Kari's Corner. Welcome to the show this week. We have some really cool topics that we're going to talk about. Also want to highlight some of the things that we have coming up in the future in August. I'm super excited to have a guest, two different guests. One, we have Jack from the OET coming again in August. And then we also have Shelly or Michelle coming to talk about the TOEFL and the new changes being rolled out on the TOEFL starting in July 26th. So super excited about the guests we have coming up. We've got some really great topics coming up. We just have so much planned for Kari's Corner. I don't know how Tracy is going to manage all of this, but somehow he and his team always do. Ramon, hey, Kari, I want to roll in your English classes. Fantastic, Ramon. Make sure you reach out to your case manager. Let them know, hey, I would love to be enrolled in Kari's English classes. Can you get us connected? And Breen, hello. Where are you from? Because I can see your name is in a really, really cool language. Where are you from? And Breen, how am I? I'm doing really well. I have a great nurses question for you guys. This is a very common thing. So since you guys are nurses and nurse aides, I feel like you guys can help. Have you ever heard of, in the US, we call them canker sores. And they're those like really pesky sores you get in your mouth after you've eaten something spicy or drank something really hot. You can get those canker sores. And I ate Chinese food yesterday. Well, the American version of Chinese food. And I got a canker sore. So what do you guys got? What are your suggestions on getting rid of those? I've heard different things from gargling with salt water to keep it clean. I've heard of using, there's a thing called lidocaine. It's a numbing thing. So I'm like, hey, I talk to nurses every day. What do you guys got? What kind of stuff can you suggest to help get rid of those pesky mouth sores? Because they're no fun. We've all had them. We all get them. They are no fun. How do I keep from getting them? So drop some information in the chat if you have some great ways of getting rid of canker sores, because man, no fun. Hello in Brazil. Hello in Pakistan. Oh, yep, Pakistan. Very, very, very cool. Hello in Tanzania and Dubai. Holy smokes, you guys are just on fire this morning, and I'm here for it. I love it. So we're talking about something today that's something very near and dear to my heart, and that is food. I love to eat. I love to eat different foods. I do. I will try different foods. My husband will tell you I'm a picky eater. I don't think I'm a picky eater, but he will tell you I'm a picky eater. My favorite things to eat as of right now would be like worldwide cuisine. I do like Chinese food, but I love American food. So I can't wait for you guys to get over here and experience real American food. So earlier this week, Tasha on our marketing team put a poll up on our Instagram page, and I think she put it on our Facebook page too. And it was like, where should we send Kari to eat? Where do you want Kari to go? And Chick-fil-A was on there. If you're not familiar with Chick-fil-A, we have that. It's here in the United States. It's a chicken place. If you ever heard the phrase, eat more chicken, and there's cows painting the sign, that's Chick-fil-A. Everybody's familiar with McDonald's. KFC, I think, is one of the first American restaurants to actually go international. Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I've actually eaten at the first original Kentucky Fried Chicken. There is a museum there. So I don't know if KFC was on the list or not, but the vote was to check out an American restaurant, which I was in the background going, woohoo, because my favorite American type of food is called like pub food or bar food in the US. And that's very different because I see we've got somebody from the UK. It's very different than UK pub food, or United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Ireland. And I know all three of those are very different when it comes to pub food or bar food. So those are my favorite types of food. So we're going to dive right into what's it like to eat in restaurants in the United States? What are the cultural expectations when you go out to eat in the United States? Because you're going to be doing more than a drive-through, right? Drive-throughs are easy. I can't wait for you guys to check out the Chick-fil-A drive-through. They have that down to an art. They stand outside with iPads and take your order, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. In the US, we would call that streamlined, meaning like it's a super easy process. So we're going to talk about restaurants in the United States today, and I'm so excited because I love food. I love food. Let's get into it. So looking at places to eat in the United States, what's going on? Why did my screen do that? There we go. Looking at places to eat in the United States, obviously you have fast food, and we have, depends on where you are in the US, that can vary too. But you do have fast food options. DoorDash and Uber Eats are options to have your food delivered to you with a fee. Now, I was doing some research in some other Southeast Asia countries. And I know it's very common where you guys are to have people on bikes, especially if you're in a big city. And they talk about how fast that service is. DoorDash, Uber Eats, and if you order pizza, not that fast. Can take 30, 45 minutes, even longer sometimes. So if you order and plan on ordering and having food delivered, your wait time might be a little different than in your home country. We have chain restaurants. Chain restaurants are those restaurants that there's multiple of them all over the world. You have Applebee's. You have a place called TGI Fridays. There are tons of them. Buffalo Wild Wings. Again, it's going to vary depending on where you are in the United States. Chains are a little bit, if you're kind of talking about a nice dining experience, a chain restaurant's going to be a little better than fast food. Fast food, of course, is grab it and go. A chain restaurant, you can order takeout from a chain restaurant, but oftentimes you'll see people dining in, and they'll go and they'll sit in the restaurant. Food trucks. Food trucks are becoming huge in the United States. There are food trucks everywhere. I love a good food truck. And it just amazes me, the things that they can make in food trucks. I feel like food trucks have been more popular everywhere else in the world, and the United States is definitely late to jump on that bandwagon. But food trucks, mom and pop. If you ever hear someone say, oh, it's like a mom and pop stop or a mom and pop shop, that usually means it's a one of a kind, established. It's been in that community or in that city. Things they make are very local, very famous locally. We have a grill. It's actually in a gas station, but it's so busy all the time because people love the food they make. In the town that I grew up in Kentucky, it was called South Main Grocery. And it was this just little hidden away, didn't look anything fancy, but they made the best sandwiches. So those are called like mom and pop shops. Diners, drive-ins, and dives. If you've ever seen that show, as I was making this list, that's what I thought of. Guy Fieri. Shout out to Guy Fieri. And of course, hello, Tom Hanks, if you ever decide to watch the show. I always have to give him a shout out just in case one day he decides to watch the show. But diners, drive-ins, and dives. If you ever want to see different American cultural cuisine, Guy Fieri does a good job of taking you all over the United States, showing you really cool places to eat. So let's get into where I chose to eat. And this is right down the street from my house. It's called Wing King Cafe. My favorite thing to eat, no matter what. No matter if you ask me, I don't care if you say, Kari, I will take you to a 5 Michelin star restaurant. I want buffalo wings. If you've never heard of buffalo wings, they are chicken wings and they are tossed in a spicy hot buffalo sauce, and it originated in Buffalo, New York, which is why they're called buffalo wings. So I go to Wing King Cafe. I love their wings. There's a picture of their wings. That's what they look like. There's a picture of their menu right there for you as well. You can see this is what I mean when I say Americanized food, and hopefully it's what you think of when you think of American style food. Chicken fingers. Obviously, we know chickens don't have fingers, but chicken fingers are very common, very popular on children's menus. But they're good. They're just breaded chicken strips. Burgers. We love burgers in the US. We love them. That's my husband's favorite meal. He loves burgers. On the lighter side, you'll see things like salads. But a lot of times you'll look at them and you think like, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to eat a salad. But in the US, we put a lot of stuff on that salad that might not make it the healthiest option. Sandwiches are very common in the US, and sandwiches are made differently here in the US than they are probably where you are from. What you put on a sandwich, very different. Cheesesteaks. Those are Philly cheesesteaks, Philadelphia style cheesesteaks. Holy smokes. Another great option. You've got shredded meat and cheese and peppers and onions. And it's what I like to call a gut bomb, meaning you might regret eating it later, but they're fantastic. Tater tots are also really common in the US. I prefer French fries, but a lot of people like tater tots. And this restaurant randomly offers seafood. I don't know why. I don't. They just wanted to provide an alternate to burgers and chicken. But my mom's had their seafood before, and she said it wasn't bad. But we got burgers. Me too. Absolutely. I love a good burger. What do you like on your burger? My favorite is a mushroom and Swiss. Yep. So bar or pub food, like I said. So as you can see at this restaurant in the photo, you have umbrellas and chairs outside. Very common to eat outside. Now, I live in the South, so you really don't see a lot of people eating outside in the heat of the day because it is so hot. But they do, your waitress may ask you, do you prefer the patio? And patio is an outdoor seating area. So will you prefer the patio, the bar, or the restaurant, meaning you're going to dine in. A lot of times bars are, you can sit at the bar. You don't have to drink alcohol if you sit at the bar. You can be served normal food at the bar. You can get water, Coke, whatever your preference is at the bar. You don't have to drink an alcoholic beverage when you're sitting at the bar. And you oftentimes see people sitting at the bar. A lot of times if you're dining alone, you might feel more comfortable sitting at the bar. I don't know. It's just it's an option here in the US. The process when you come in, and the waitress will come to your table first and she'll ask you what your drink order is. And I'll get a little more into that. Once she gets your drinks, that gives you time to look at the menu, figure out what you want. And then she'll come back and take your order. I'm going to talk about tips later on too. So in the US, we've started putting suggested tips. Some restaurants will put a tip suggestion where they'll do the calculation for you. Usually they give you an option of 10, 15, or 20. 15 and 20 is usually the average, 15 being the average and 20 being like, wow, you got really great service. And it's 20% of your tip, of your total tab, of total of how much you've paid. So, or 15% of how much you paid. Tipping in the United States is very common in service industries. I know in some cultures and in some places, tipping is not something you do. But in the United States, that's actually how a lot of servers make most of their money. So tipping is really important for their survival, for them to be able to take money home. So keep that in mind, but it is often based on the service you received. So if you give 10%, that means like, okay, you did your job, but you didn't really do it well. You didn't listen. My drinks took a really long time. The food was cold when you brought it to me, that kind of stuff. 15% is average service. Like, good job. Everything was good. Thank you so much. 20 is they went over and they went above and beyond. Usually I like to do 20% if you have kids and they do a little something extra for your kids, because I'm going to get into that too. Dining with children, as we all know, is a whole different experience than just dining with your significant other. Hello in Nigeria. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. So, order of the meal in the United States, drinks first. And this is something I know I need to point out, having traveled internationally. Water and all beverages in the United States come with ice in them. So, I learned that traveling abroad. I was like, where's the ice? All of our beverages come with ice, unless it's a hot beverage, obviously. So, you do have to ask if you do not want ice in your glass, and that's fine. You can definitely ask for that. Sometimes you may have to remind your waiter or waitress that you need a straw as well, if you prefer to drink out of a straw instead of just the cup. So drinks come first, and remember, if you don't want ice in your drink, make sure you ask for that. When they come back to place your order, you want to go ahead and place the order for usually your appetizer and your main course. An appetizer comes prior to the meal. It's a small dish that serves multiple people, usually like a finger food type thing, but they will bring plates with it as well. So you can take yours and put it on a plate. One of my favorite appetizers to get are fried pickles. I know that's weird. How many of y'all out there have heard of fried pickles? Fried pickles and ranch dressing. Woo, buddy. That's my favorite. But another really popular one is nachos. I love nachos. So you place your appetizer. Appetizers come out first, usually 10 to 20 minutes prior to your main meal. It just depends on how busy the restaurant is. And then they'll come back after you've finished your meal, after you've been served your meal, and they will ask if usually the most common, has anyone saved room for dessert? And what they're asking is, would you like to order dessert? So that's a colloquialism, I guess you could say. Have you saved room for dessert? It's okay to say no. I would guess that probably 8 out of 10 people do say no. The one place that I go and get dessert every time, I actually order it at the beginning of the meal, and I tell the waiter I want it, because I usually take it to go. And you can order things to go. You'd be like, yes, I would like this dessert, but I would like it to go. It's pictured. It's red velvet cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. Oh, it is life-changing. Red velvet cheesecake and a glass of milk. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Isn't that a pretty cake? That's cake in the United States. Not all cakes. Cheesecake Factory does it really well. So something that might be different in the United States versus other cultures would be issues with your meal and how to address issues with your meal. If your food, especially your meat, is over or undercooked, like if you asked for a steak and you wanted it medium rare and they bring it to you and it's well done, steaks are expensive. And it's okay to look at your waiter and say, I requested that my steak be medium rare, and you can show them like this steak is well done. And there's a big taste difference in meat between a medium rare and a well done. Usually the ratings of meat, and they'll ask you, rare is basically touch the grill for a minute on both sides, and then they served it to you. Medium rare, then medium well, and then well done. Those are the steak array, if you will. But you need to advocate for that. If you're paying money for something, you're paying money for a service, it is okay. And your waiter or waitress is not going to argue with you. They're going to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's well done. You ordered medium rare. I'm so sorry. They'll apologize to you and they'll bring it, they'll fix it for you. If you're missing something, if you ordered a side, if you ordered a certain style of dressing, speak up like that. And I know that is something that's a cultural, it's very different. It's difficult. Even in the United States, if you want to complain about something, some people are really good at it and very good at advocating for themselves. My mother is one of those people. Some people are like, no, I'm just going to suck it up and eat it. But it is totally okay. It's all in how you approach the situation, right? You guys are nurses. You all have bedside manner. You know how to approach patients. You know how to approach people. Same thing. It's okay to ask for more. I always ask for extra ranch dressing. Always. I'm like, I'm going to need an extra ranch. I'm just letting you know, I'm going to need an extra ranch. And then it just doesn't, oh, my camera always cuts off some of my screen. If it just doesn't taste right, if you order it and you're like, this tastes funny, I don't like this, you can tell your server. It's okay. It's okay to tell your server. It's totally fine. I know in some cultures it might be seen as disrespectful, but in the US, all in how you approach it, it's definitely okay. Food trucks. Like I said earlier, food trucks are so cool. And in the US, we are really starting to expand on the options of food trucks. We have a lot of international food trucks, but we have food trucks that serve coffee, like beverage trucks. We have, I put a picture on the top left. It's called King of Fire. And they actually have like a brick oven in their truck and they make pizza. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. The other two that I have are on the top right. It's called Kona Ice, and that is shaved ice with like a syrup on it, a flavoring syrup. It's really good. Get the opportunity to try that. In the bottom left, I have Abbott's, which is custard. If you've never had custard, oh, that's another thing. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I would love to hear from you guys. Like, what are things that are in your country that if I was traveling to your country, what is something you would say, you have to try this? You have to try this. What would I have to try in your country? I would love to hear from you guys. Local breweries. So breweries are also something that's really popular in the United States. And a lot of people just associate them with alcohol. Now, if you drink alcohol, great. Breweries are definitely a place for you to check out. However, breweries are also, especially where I live, can be really big family-friendly environments. I have a picture on the bottom right. It's a place called Hoppin'. It just opened in Rock Hill, but you can see it's a huge outdoor space with fire pits and I think that's turf. That's not real grass, but there's areas for kids to play. They have games set up. And a lot of times places like that will bring in food trucks. The place on the top left is a place called Legal Remedy. And they actually have a restaurant in-house too. So don't think that just because a place is called a brewery, you're like, I don't drink, we can't go there. Absolutely not. Look them up. Look up their website, look up their Facebook page, check out their menu. You can totally go to a brewery and not have alcohol. And you don't have to have just the beer that they brew. So definitely something to check out. Don't just ignore it because you're like, oh, it's a brewery. It's a really great family-friendly option as well. So check it out. Speaking of service and family-friendly, just great ways to get the best service here in the United States. A restaurant is a place that people like to go to kind of get away for a little while. I know in my house, I do all the dishes. So I like to go out to eat so that I don't have to do dishes. But customer service can really impact your dining experience. So if you're looking for really great customer service, weekends are busy. Lots of people eat out on the weekends. Friday nights through Sundays are usually their busiest times. If you make a reservation, keep your reservation. Don't just not show up. And in the United States, timing is everything. If you have a dinner reservation for 8 p.m., you need to be there at 7:50 p.m. You need to be there early. Okay? If you show up late, they might hold your reservation for 5-10 minutes. After that, your reservation's gone. So timing is very important. Plus, restaurants will know if you just don't show up for a reservation, and let's say you call the next week and try to make a reservation, they may not give you good service because they're like, this person didn't even show up for their reservation last time. So keep your reservation. If you need to cancel, call ahead of time. Let them know. Apologize profusely. Always good. Okay, I don't know. What are really delicious foods in Brazil? Okay, what are those? Are they desserts? Are they meals? I'm loving the suggestions. I don't know how to say them. Feijoada? I don't know. I'm guessing. I probably butchered it. But I'm going to have to Google that. I love that suggestion. Yay, keep giving me food suggestions. Don't be rude. Servers will retaliate. There's always this rumor that if you make a server angry, they'll spit in your food. Talking to many servers, I've never heard of that being done. I also wouldn't expect someone to admit to it. But I do know something that they do. If you're with a large party and your party's been rude, been very demanding, all of those things, they will do this trick where they come to your table and announce in front of your whole table that your credit card has been denied just to embarrass you because you have been so rude to them all night. Yeah, I did read about that one. So don't be rude. Servers do sometimes find a way to retaliate. Plus, if it's a restaurant you frequent, you plan on going to a lot, make sure you're on good terms with all the servers. Another final tip is to tip in cash when possible. So your servers really appreciate it if you can tip in cash. Give that tip money. Remember, we talked about that 10, 15, or 20%. Leave it in cash when possible. When possible. Doesn't mean you need to go to an ATM before you go out to eat. If you have cash, they do prefer tip in cash. So now we are going to look at dining with children. For those of you with children, and different cultures expect their children to behave different ways. Different households expect their children to behave in different ways. For example, when I take my family out to eat, we do not allow our children to have electronics at the table. Grilled locally, spiced fish is so nice. Ooh, spiced fish. Okay, what kind of spice are we putting on that? Is it super spicy? I love fish. I do enjoy eating fish. So dining with your children can be an enjoyable experience. So in the US, here are some tips to make it an enjoyable experience for you and everyone else in the restaurant, because we've all been there. And some of us have been those parents with the screaming child, right? So much fun. So much fun. The establishment's really important. I would not take a 2-year-old to a very nice, quiet, intimate restaurant. I would, that's just me thinking about not just myself, but the server and everybody else in the restaurant. Usually those nice, quiet, fancier, intimate restaurants people go to enjoy the quiet for a little bit. And if you bring a screaming 2-year-old, that will ruin what we call the ambiance or the mood trying to be set. So make sure you pick a good establishment. Respect the other diners. Not many people like to listen to screaming children when they're eating. So if you have a screaming child, it's okay to take them out of the restaurant. Pick them up, take them out of the restaurant. Granted, it takes you away from your food. I totally get it. However, it's called, in the United States, we call it being considerate of others. So that means considering how other people are experiencing things. So it might be tough on you, but thinking of others is always an important thing to do. Ordering as soon as possible. If you have small children, you really need to kind of make sure everything's ready to go. The longer you drag out the experience, the more you're asking that child to behave in a very small, confined space. So when the waiter, waitress, server comes to take your order, be ready. Be ready to order. Bag of tricks. As moms and dads, anytime you travel with kids, bring a bag of tricks. Some people and some parents are cool with having electronics at the table or letting their child play on their phone because it keeps them quiet. That is a personal choice. You can totally do that. I always pack crayons or pens and paper. I bring notebooks. My kids draw. Sometimes they'll have like a tiny toy, and that little fidgety thing will keep them happy. Stay away from things that make noise. Toys that make a lot of noise. All of those things. Okay. Dark beans with bacon, pepperoni, and pork served with crackling vinaigrette and rice and lunch. Holy smokes. You said bacon. I'm on board. Natalia, I'm going to need one of those. I'm going to need a recipe for that. Pepperoni. Holy, wow. That sounds so good. Is anybody else on here going like, oh, that's different? That sounds good. Is that what you're having for lunch today, Natalia? That sounds amazing. I do like vinaigrette too. Crackling and vinaigrette. Ooh, that sounds good. So dining with children, always a good time. As far as restaurants and eating at restaurants go, the biggest thing is in the United States, like, don't be scared to try new things. You're out to eat, you're enjoying the experience. Don't be scared to kind of venture off and try something different. Don't just look for restaurants that serve your local cuisine. I know sometimes you will have the homesick itch to eat something that's a little familiar to home, but don't be scared to try American cuisine. What's really funny is I had a foreign exchange student, because in the United States, I will say, our food is not the healthiest. We do enjoy our preservatives. But she came over from Thailand. She was a foreign exchange student in my class, and she discovered Chick-fil-A and she loved it. Like, that was her thing. That was her favorite thing in the world. And she had to write home and call her parents because all of her clothes were getting too tight because she was gaining weight from all the fast food that she was eating. So I'm sure if you all have talked to other friends who have come over to the United States, or if you've been to the United States, it's definitely, if you want to gain weight, it's a great place to be. And I can show you some great foods if you want to put on some weight. But we also have healthy options too. We definitely have some great healthy options. Unfortunately, not today. Well, now you've made me want that today, Natalia. So I guess I'm going to do a deep dive Google search on how to make that. So coming to the United States, don't be scared to try our food. Don't be scared to try our cuisine. Always check ingredients. Another thing that you want to look for that I just thought about, and I should have put in my presentation, is if you have food allergies. If you have food allergies, the best thing to do is to make a card with pictures of what you're allergic to, especially if you're English and you're just nervous about speaking English really well. Make a card with pictures of what you're allergic to, or your child is allergic to, children are allergic to. Carry that with you so that you can show people, we can't have this. Because in the United States, a lot of things are cooked in peanut oil, and it might not state that on the menu. Things, especially if you have a shellfish allergy, that can be really big. Any kind of nut oil. I know some people have a gluten intolerance. We have done a better job in the US of labeling things as gluten-free. So, but in a kitchen, you guys know different things touch. So you have that cross-contamination, and it's not intentional, but your food could be exposed to something you're allergic to. So if you have those food allergies, make a card with pictures of what you're allergic to, or just put it on your phone. Take a picture of it, put it on your phone, and let people know I can't have these things. And your waiter, server, waitress, whatever, will definitely be happy to accommodate that for you. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about eating and dining in the United States. I am definitely going to tell you, when you get to the United States, you've got to go get some buffalo wings. That's my suggestion. Buffalo wings, buffalo chicken. You can get boneless wings, which we all know there's no such thing as a boneless wing. It's just a chicken breast cut up. But try it, buffalo wings. Some people like blue cheese. I don't do blue cheese. I'm a ranch gal. So buffalo wings, ranch. Best stuff out there, in my opinion, if you like a little bit of spice, a little bit of heat. Other than that, we've got Tracy going. Don't forget, if you've already applied with Worldwide and you're working with a case manager, yes, let them know you would like to enroll in our free English language courses. I have a PTE course. I have an IELTS course rolling out this month, and then hopefully a TOEFL course rolling out in August. So lots of great things coming from Kari's Corner. But thank you so much. Is it common to ask? Oh, yes. Very good, Natalia. Yes, it's very common. If you don't eat all your food, you ask for to-go boxes. Now, if you're in the Cooper family, we are really good at asking for the to-go boxes. We pack up the to-go box, and then we leave it on the table. And we get home and go, dang, we left our food again. So yes, it's very common to ask for to-go boxes for the leftover food. Waste not, what not, right? Don't waste your food. Don't waste what you have. So ask for those to go by. I don't care if you are at a 5-star Michelin restaurant. You paid for that food. You get a box to take it home if you did not eat it. A great kitchen appliance for reheating, especially fried foods, is an air fryer. Game changer. You can take home French fries now, heat them up in the air fryer, and they're not soggy. They taste just like they did at the restaurant. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, folks. Thank you so much for stumbling into my corner today. Thank you for your food suggestions. I'm really excited to check into those things and try those out. If you have any questions about English language exam, about English language culture in the United States, anything I can help you with, follow me on Facebook, send me a message, email me, whatever you need to do to get in contact with me. I am here to help you. I'm here to support you. And I'm here to remind you, don't face the corner, face the world with Worldwide. Have a great weekend.